Produced by Showtime in the US and streaming here on Stan, Work in Progress is one of those shows that seem to proliferate in the world of cable TV and streaming. A quirky little comedy dealing with the sort of ideas and issues that once would never have made it into a network TV show. Other recent series come to mind like Shrill, Insecure, Special and High Maintenance. Co-created by Abby McEnany with Tim Mason, Work in Progress takes inspiration from McEnany's own one-woman shows, an apparent mainstay of the Chicago improv scene. She plays Abby, a self-described 45-year-old fat queer dyke with insecurity about her weight and suffering depression that's debilitating her. She says she feels like a building that's been delayed, that isn't complete, a thing with unfinished beams, an eyesore. After an incident with a mean co-worker, Abby decides that she's giving life 180 days to get better. If it doesn't, she's going to kill herself. She's laid out 180 almonds in her scungy apartment, and each day she's going to throw one away until only one is left. Then, if she doesn't feel any better, that's it. We learn this as the show begins, Abby announcing it in a monologue to her therapist, who dies midway through the session. So nothing is going right in Abby's life until she meets 22-year-old waiter Chris, played with luminous presence by Theo Germain, a millennial trans man, someone who was labelled female at birth but has a male gender identity. And then Abby has a chance meeting with former Saturday Night Live star Julia Sweeney, whose It's Pat character, popular in the show in the early 1990s and neither man nor woman, it seems, a genderless oddity, apparently ruined her life as she was constantly mistaken for her when younger. McEnany's show was scooped up by Lilly Wachowski and her production company Circle of Confusion at Sundance before Showtime became involved. Wachowski is also co-writer. The series a departure from her usual sci-fi universe, known for her screen work with sibling Lana, including the Matrix franchise. Obviously, she was drawn to the show's entertaining but emotionally driven concentration on identity issues and LGBTQ relationships. And it is funny, the humour coming from the interplay of sympathetic and satirical attitudes of dryness and sentimentality, the in-your-face and the ambiguous. And while Abby's insecure, apprehensive about the future and uncertain where she stands in life, this comedy certainly isn't.
It's so sweet, this series. And it takes a bit of getting into you know, because, I mean, she's sort of like, do I like this woman or don't I?
She never stops talking, does she?
But it's like you end up loving her.
Yeah.
She's so honest. And I do believe that McEnany is being pretty self-revealing in this series about her own insecurities. And it's such an unlikely romance between her and this character played by Theo Germain, who's so gorgeous also. But all the characters around them are really, really lovely. And it's a world that, you know, she wants to claim for herself. I mean, she describes as a fat, queer dyke, not a lesbian, you know, and it's sort of like, okay, claim those words for yourself. And it was, I don't know, I just sort of became more and more entranced by this series the more I watched it. And I think it's really clever. I think Lilly Wachowski's great getting involved with something like this because I don't think she and Lana are working so much together anymore after so many years together. But I'm really loving it.
I am too. As I said in the introduction, it's interesting that these small shows, half hour, sometimes smaller, it's very interesting how this has developed.
Well, it's also that
indie
it's
shows,
different.
Indie TV.
It's sort of like it's going into a world that hasn't very often been gone into before. No. And I really like that. Because there's so much that's of sameness about television. So when you get something that is original and fresh, you go, oh, thank God, there's more talent out there. I'm giving this 4 stars.
I'm giving it 4 as well. I found it pretty irresistible as well.
I will never be
I'm this fat, struggling queer dyke, and that is my identity.
free.